Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's time for Funnel Fridays, and we are in for a treat for tonight. Today, we're going to teach you all about how you could generate leads yourself utilizing the AdvNav system. And we have our team that is dedicated to us from RapidFunnel here. They're with us every Friday at this time. We continue teaching you, and if this is your first week joining us, it doesn't matter. We're going to help you. We go through a training, and then we do a live work session. Then we open it up for Q&A. So we'll get you covered. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our account executive. Her name is Jen Hageman, and she's located in Connecticut. She has a vast and eclectic background that's so cool. But most importantly, she has been in the network marketing industry for over 30 years, is a top producing leader. And so she brings with us so much talent and so much gems of wisdom. And she absolutely loves RapidFunnel. And when I say RapidFunnel and AdvNav, it's synonymous. AdvNav, the Advancement Navigator app, is a white label that has been built out and is exclusive for the use of at-cost metals. So RapidFunnel is our support system. And let me just say this last thing. If you are not technically inclined, but you have a team and you want them supported and you want them pepped up every Friday before end of week, then get them on these trainings because we'll do just that. So without further ado, Jen, tell us a little bit about why you said yes to RapidFunnel and why you're here today. Take it away.
I sure will. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you so much. And yeah, I have been in network marketing for 33 years, and I was very fortunate. I'm with the same company. I've been with the same company that whole time, which is a bit of an anomaly in our industry. But as a leader in my company, one of the things that I struggled with was trying to come up with tools that people could use, because the vast majority of people who will ever be a part of your team only ever want to make $500 to $1,000 a month. You will have 10% of the people maybe that want to do more than that. And then you'll, of course, have your 5%ers who want to really create a career and grow a massive income here. And all of that's possible in this space. But most people want to figure out how they can just create another source of income without interfering, without taking a lot of time. I had looked at, I won't say everything because I'm sure there are some tools out there that I missed, but I had tried lots of different contact management systems, probably a dozen, and invested money in all of them and had to import the data and learn the tool. And I remember one of the people who had created one of them telling me, basically introducing new technology is always disruptive. And I thought, oh, I'm doing it for like the 11th time. And then I had used various email services to help email out to groups. I had used several texting services to try and have some way of disseminating information and making sure that we had a system within our team so that I wasn't the bottleneck. I think that's the most important part about your AdNav tool, is that your app keeps you from being the person that knows everything and therefore has to teach everyone else. I'm going to show you in a minute a couple of concepts here with your app, but mostly think of it in terms of one of the key tenets of network marketing is duplication. And you want to keep it simple. You want to make it so that anyone can do this. Anyone can learn what they have to do, and they can figure out how to do that effectively in 5 to 10 hours a week. That's really what the new person might be able to give you in terms of time. And they might be game to do more when they realize how successful this works. But the trap that I ran into was that as I was trying to create systems, I realized, holy cow, I'm shelling out a lot of money, to do lead generation pages, to do a contact manager, to do an email service, to do funnel systems, all that stuff was costing a lot. And I just couldn't ask my team to do that particularly the part-time people, and absolutely not the new people. That all I wanted the new people doing was introducing our story to the people that they knew. So that was my dilemma. And when my business coach actually introduced me to the CEO of RapidFunnel, Patrick Shaw, and I saw this, I thought, holy cow, this is such an answer to my dilemma. This just solves it all. It's just extraordinary. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to take you through this week's training so that you can see what we're doing. But basically, the concept that we're going to cover this week is really this idea of how do you generate more leads? And there are a lot of different ways to do that in the space of business and in the space of network marketing. But there are some powerful ways to do it here with your app that I'll share with you in a minute. One of the challenges that new people or even you might be facing is that, how do you just have enough qualified people to talk to? How do you find enough people that are ready to go right now? And we've got some cool resources for you on that front. Another challenge is that people that come in, they just don't really build a habit around prospecting. They frequently come in and think this is a sales business. And what they're failing to understand is that this is really just a prospecting business, in the sense that you're constantly wanting to be having conversations with people, inviting them to hear about something new, and then letting the process work for you. But until people build that habit of prospecting, they don't know who to talk to, they don't know what to say, they don't know what to share. And depending on the structure, I know that in my team, we had to work very hard to always keep it simple. Someone was always coming up with a new idea. Let's do it this way. And then they'd come up with all this stuff. And then new people would be overwhelmed with, well, where do I start? Should I be over here? Should I be over here? Should I send this piece? Should I send this piece? They would just get lost. And so the confused mind does nothing, right? It just stops. So that's really a huge challenge in our space. Another dynamic that's important to take in is that you really can't manage what you can't measure. I hear this all the time when I do coachings, and I'll talk to someone, I'll be like, how many people have you talked to? Or the classic line that comes to me is, this isn't working. I've talked to so many people and no one's interested. Well, I don't know, when they say so many, what do they mean? How many people have they talked to? What have they actually said? What have they actually shared? What's that process look like? I can't coach them without knowing those particulars. And so in order to manage your own business and also to manage your team's business, you need to be able to measure what's going on. And that's very elusive in this space too. They're really, until I found this app, there really wasn't a place where I found that that was done effectively. And then the other difficulty is that most people just don't know what it's going to take to achieve their goals. They don't really understand. They think that they can just hit this hard really for a very short window, and then get disappointed sometimes when that doesn't work. And this is so much like, first of all, any other business. And yet it's also very different than any other business. But it's also like going to the gym. You just can't go to the gym for the first 5 days in January and expect your body to change. That's not how it's going to work. There's a consistency that has to happen. And you want to be looking at this business exactly the same way. You want that consistency over time. The only way you're going to get consistency over time is if the activities are something you can do easily, consistently. And that's where this app shines for you. First of all, no one ever leaves home without their phone, right? So you've got everything you need on the phone. But at the end of the day, in many, many ways, this phrase that it's a numbers game is quite true. For the most part, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person, from the sense that when it's the right time, people are all ears. They're really ready. They're looking, okay? And it's a sorting business. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, this is sales. I got to be able to be good at convincing people and talk people into it. And if you think back, I would just ask you to consider what your experience was when you got started. Odds are no one convinced you. They might have shared information with you that was probably pretty educational in nature, but you were at a place where you were ready to hear it. And it's you being at the place where you're ready to go that's important. And we have a strategy within the app. Your leadership here, Don and Antoine, have done some amazing resources for you. And I may take a minute to show those to you. But basically, it's oftentimes it's the right person. It's just not the right time for that person. So you do want a strategy for that. There's one built into the app. But another concept here is discovering your ratios. And honestly, when you know your ratios, that just is so empowering. It just sets you free because you can, if you know that you have to talk to 5 people to get one person to look at information, and for every 5 people that look at information, one person either becomes a customer or joins your team. As soon as you know those ratios, then you can plan. Then you can really look and say, all right, these are the results that I want to have. So that's going to take X number of customers and Y number of team members. And then you can just reverse engineer it. So it becomes very manageable, and it doesn't it's not a mystery anymore, but you have to be able to measure and see stuff. I want to talk today too, specifically about creating qualified prospects. And you've got some content I'm going to show you in a minute when we go to the app for just casting a wider net, just finding people that are out there looking at your content on social or emailing people directly or texting people directly. There are some resources that are built into your app that will help you find people who are there. They're ready, they're raising their hand. And then we've got other strategies for driving traffic to your pages. So 2 other things that I just want to wrap up with on this section. There is a section, and I'll show you one in a sec when I go over to the app, on called the wizard. And the way that the wizard works is it's how you import names. It's one of the ways that you can import names. And when you bring names into your contact list using the wizard, you have to bring in a minimum of 5 at a time. And it's just designed to let you chunk your process. But let me just share a strategy that one of the leaders has done using the wizard. He had a group of people in his team, and towards the 3rd week in the month, the whole group maybe had reached out to 20, 25 people. It was a really small number. He had 10 of them come over to his house and sit down, and they all pulled out their app and they all used the wizard. They brought in 5 new people each, so that's 50 people. And sitting right there, he had them send an invite to those 5 new people they each brought in. So in the space of 15, 20 minutes, he had 50 invites go out. So 50 new people contacted. And in the previous 3 weeks, that whole group had maybe done 20, not 20, 25, something like that. So that is one way to use the resources that are built into the app to exponentially grow the number of times the invitation is being sent out, the number of times the story is being told. And you know that if you have a group of people that only reach out to 20 or 25 people, and then you have a group of people that reach out to 50 people, you just know intuitively the people who reach out to 50 are going to have a higher odd of success. They're going to have more people raise their hand and say, I'll consider being a customer, I'll consider being a team member. And obviously having a flow that you've got a beautiful flow. Again, your leadership put together a fabulous tool for you. I'll show you that flow in a second. When you have that flow, that just makes it easy. Again, no one leaves home without their phone. So they can go to step 1, step 2, step 3 very easily, sitting in, if you pick kids up from school and you're sitting in the pickup line and you've got 15 minutes sometimes, you can send out an invite or 2. You just click step 1, then find your contact, send them that invite, and the process has started. And while you're busy doing something else, they may then take that time to click on your link or message you back, which is really pretty cool. We also have contests and leaderboards. I'll show you those in a second. And those just really are there for inspiration to have everybody see, okay, what are other people doing? Other people are reaching out. And the more people you have telling the story, again, this isn't rocket science. The person who tells the story the most often is the person who wins, because you just stand a better chance of finding people who are ready to take action now. And then lastly, it's a volunteer army. It's not the army. This is not something you can't mandate people to take certain activities. And if people want to be here because you've created a great community where you've got like-minded people, they're all talking and concerned and sharing information about the same thing, and they just want to be a part of that positive, like-minded culture, welcome them. Let them be here. That's okay. At some point, they may step into being a builder. They may step into that place where they go, you know what? I really should be inviting other people into this community. I really should be sharing something with them. So that's one of the things to take in. So I'm gonna switch over to the app now, but when I am done, Dawn is gonna lead you through a cool workshop where you can take some of the resources I'm about to show you and you can use them right away. And I suspect that if a number of you do that, you're going to get some responses right away. So let me stop sharing my screen and let me go over to the app. Hang on one second. And we will pull up the app here. There we go. Okay, hopefully you can see my app. And I'm just going to do a quick tutorial here for people that are new. Couple of quick things, and I know Dawn will probably repeat this, but just so that you know, if you're brand new and you haven't used the app before, if you want to bring someone into the app, you would click that plus button, which is the silhouette, and then the 2 steps you could take, as I mentioned earlier, you could do the wizard. You have to bring 5 people in at a time when you do the wizard, but if you'd like to bring people in 1 at a time, you can come up here and click import. And when you click import, it's going to open up your contacts. And as soon as you click on a name, what will happen is this box right here is going to get highlighted. And then as soon as that's highlighted, the import word shows up here. I'm not going to import her because that is not someone that needs to come into your app. But once they come in, they will be listed right here in contacts. If you go to contacts, you'll see that people are in here, and the way that they are filtered, there's a way to sort through filtering. So you can see, if I click on this, I can see how they're being listed. And right now they're being listed new to old, but you can change this to alphabetical. You can change this to old to new. You can change this to based on follow-up. You can change this to campaigns. There's a lot of different ways to change this. But what I wanted to show you today is some of the resources you have for creating new leads. So understand that, first of all, there are a lot of aspects to creating leads. The best way that network marketing works is when someone who knows someone invites that person to take a look at what they're doing. Hands down, that's the best way. And here's why. I've shared this in other trainings before. There's just a lot of noise out there. People get over 5,000 digital impressions every single day. Plus, they've got email, they've got texting, they've got Messenger, they've got WhatsApp, they've got I don't, it's so many different platforms, that you get messages from, that your phone can look like a Christmas tree with all the red little numbers telling you you've got notifications in all of these areas. So breaking through that noise only happens when someone who knows someone sends them a message that's a personal message, and that's powerful. So I want you to think about team building from the perspective of never-ending leads. And next week we'll talk about this a little bit too, but as soon as someone new joins your team, one of your top goals, one of your top priorities is to show them how to use the app so that they can reach into their contact base and just invite them to take a look at what you're doing. And what that immediately does for you is, let's just say that person knows a couple hundred people. I would challenge almost everyone that you would bring on your team, if you bring them to your phone and you have them look at your phone, and I'll actually show you on my phone so you can see, but you have people bring their phone to you, you can see how many contacts they have. They have way more than they think they have, way more. And what happens is most people just tend to prejudge. Most people just tend to say, oh, no one I know would be interested in this. Or, they kind of look at their list and say, well, I don't think they'd be interested because they're really successful. I don't think they'd be interested because they're a stay-at-home mom, or I don't think they'd be interested because they're super busy with taking care of their parents, whatever. And that prejudgment stops you. And it's not really fair to them, among other things, because you're making a decision for them. But as soon as you can take off that judgment hat and just say, let's just invite them, let's just let them take a look, you've got the resources right here. So I'm going to spend just a second and show you this process. If you click on resources right here, you've got some amazing resources here. So if you click on, if you click on at cost metals, this plus sign here, your resources open up. And you have a couple of things that you can click on here. So when you're first inviting people, sorry, my thing keeps moving, you're going to go to one of your invites and you have lots to choose from. You've got beautiful invitations that your leadership has put together for you. So you can send them an invitation, but if you want to cast a wider net and do something in terms of social and just find people that might be just fishing around that you don't even know, you've got 3 resources in your app that are super powerful for creating contacts for you. First is your surveys. You've got 2 to choose from. And if you click right here on the open, you can just see what these look like. And I'll just show you what they look like because they're beautiful. Go ahead and take them, first of all. But second of all, let me show you how you can use these. This is a survey. Can I ask you a quick question? What statement best describes you? This one's focused on income. And you just are looking and seeing and finding out who's at a place in your circle of friends. How often does the conversation of gold and silver and or anything in precious metals come up? Because you'd find out maybe they never talk about it, but maybe they happen to be in a group where they talk about it all the time. So, and you just don't know. So you're sending them this piece. And the way that you can put this on social, I'll show you in a second, but they're going to answer the survey and they're going to give you their name, their first name, their last name, their email address, and their phone number. And that person's going to go right into your contacts in your AdvNav app, which is awesome. And you will see in the notes for that person all the answers to their survey question. And so then you'll be able to call them up, send them a text, shoot them an email, however you communicate with them. And you'll be able to say, hey, I saw your survey results. Thanks for taking the survey. And I saw that you had a real strong interest in gold and silver. What have you been doing about that? Where have you been researching? What have you been reading? Where have you been investing? What have you been doing? You can have a coherent conversation with them, which is huge. So the way that you can send this to people is, first of all, you can go into their contact and send them the link. Or if you want to send this out to somebody just kind of generically, you can click on this link and copy it. And then you can go to LinkedIn, you can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram. You can't put a link in Instagram. You would have to do a post in Instagram and then down in comments, put the link. But you can take one of your invitations and say, hey, would you take this survey for me? Here's the link. And just put the link in there and put it out on social and have people that maybe you haven't reached out to directly get this survey, and a percentage of them are going to take the survey and answer those questions. And then you've got a lot of information and an opportunity to have a really intelligent conversation with someone about what you're doing and what you're building, which is huge. So if we go back here to the real thing that's huge for you that your team just did about 4 weeks ago, I think we're 4 weeks in, your leadership made a huge investment. This is, I can't remember exactly how much it is, like between $5,000 and $10,000 for this particular page. And you have it at your disposal just for being a pro user. If you come up here to number 2 and you take a look at this, it's called the free secrets page. It's only called free secrets because the page gives away some free secrets to investing and gold and silver and a whole bunch of other resources. And the way that it does that, if you click on the open, people are going to get this page, and you can put this page, you can advertise for this page. You can again share this page on social. You can email this page to people. You can text this page to people. There's so many things you can do with this page. And here's what happens. You're asking them these questions, and if they say yes, if they raise their hand, they look at those questions and they go, this is something I want to learn about, they receive, in exchange for entering their name and their contact information, they receive a cool free, oh, I guess it's going to ask me to put in my stuff. They're going to receive a guide that basically will walk them through and give them some of the key things they need to be thinking about in terms of investing in gold and silver, which is huge. So they're going to get that piece, and then there's a follow-up piece. So it will walk them through this process where they're going to get some great information, but you're going to get a contact who has raised their hand and said to you through their answers and through their actions, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. This is such a powerful, powerful tool. I just can't even put into words how much this could change the dynamic of your business. It is part of the pro, but where I come from in terms of what I had been doing with my company, with my business, I had been spending a ton of money, hundreds and hundreds. And I know, Dawn, you shared this same thing where you spend, stuff for emails, I was spending well over 150 a month for a contact management system. And then I was, trying to do data with getting surveys done and stuff like that. It just was hundreds of dollars every month. And our pro version is not anywhere near that for you with AdvNav. So you, for a very small investment in your business every month, you would have this resource which would help you create some dynamic, active, ready to go people for your team right now, which is pretty awesome. So one of the things that I just wanted to show you too is that when you are going through these, if you want, you can also send these to someone right in their contacts. So again, if I were to go back to the contacts down here, and then I were to click on a contact, and then I were to send resources right here and click on that, then I can do the same process. So these don't have to just be shared on social. They can be sent directly to someone. So you could come to the free secrets page and you could just click on that. And then because you've got this information, hang on, sorry, my thing's taking this time. You've got their email, you've got their text, and you've got their social. You have a choice of sending that link to them directly. So you could have a text conversation or a phone call or some other conversation with somebody and have that conversation of, hey, would you do a survey for me? Would you take a quick look? Or are you interested in gold and silver? We've got this free guide to investing. I'd love to send it to you. And you can send them that link. So you've got a lot of invites to choose from, but the point being, they're going to get a guide, a free guide with some ideas for investing from you, from your leadership. It's all done. Here's the thing. You don't have to create any of this. The guide is done. The system is done. The step through process is done. All you have to do is start the process, initiate the story, ask them if they will take a look at it, or if you're not doing it one-on-one and you want to do it on social, putting this out on your social feeds. So it is a powerful, powerful resource for you. And I think that the key to this, like anything else, is just consistency, and also remembering that it's a process too of not just who you know, but the people who join you, who do they know? And making sure, one of the strong suits of this app is that it makes it possible for everyone new to instantly know what to send, have a list of ways to ask people to look, have the tools to share with people, simplified. Again, if you go back to this basic page here and you look at this, let me just get rid of this for a second and undo that. if you look at this, you're looking at step 1, get permission. Step 2, secrets page. Step 3, surveys. Step 4 is peak interest. Step 5 is present. It's all spelled out. A new person is going to be able to walk through each of those steps without getting overwhelmed. And that's going to enable them and empower them to take activity right now, to get into action right now and get things going, which is huge. So Dawn, before I sign off, is there anything else that you would like me to cover while I'm right here on the screen?
I'd just like you to clarify when you say free secrets page. Is it free?
No, the
Free
page
for?
itself, okay, the page itself is not free. You have to be on the pro system in order, the pro level, in order to get access to this page, which is why it says requires the pro right here. But the free part of the free secrets is that your page is going to give the prospect a free guide with advice and all sorts of ideas and information about how to be looking at gold and silver and other precious metals in terms of an investment. So they are going to get a free resource. Now, you're in the pro system, so that's where this page becomes available. But your prospect that you're sending this to has the ability to get a free resource. And that goes on. I mean, I'm sure that everyone on this call has probably opted in for some kind of free resource that they've seen where they've signed up with someone and they've wanted to get something. So it's a really cool way to be doing something helpful for people. I've seen the materials that your leadership's put together. It is a great guide. If you haven't done it and you haven't looked at it, sign up and send it to yourself because it's good information. And it's really educational and service oriented. So it's there to support people. And it's going to put you in a position where when you share that with one of your prospects, they're going to realize that you are a resource. Even if you're not an expert in this space, you're still a person that knows more than them. And you obviously have, your finger in the game and you can guide them to some resources. So you become someone that they can look to for some guidance in this space, which is huge from the standpoint of being that person of service and being that go-to person to help them as they start their journey. It's a game changer to be using a strategy like this with your contacts, because it sets you up for just having great conversations and being in a really strong position to guide people and advise them. I mean, obviously you're only going to recommend something that's going to be good for them, but it's a sea out there, where do they go for information? And your leadership's put some really good resources together to start to clarify that for them and help them through that process, which is huge. Anything else, Dawn, you'd like me to touch on here? You are muted, so there we go. All right.
Okay, so I wanted to show this. I wanted you to share with them this. This is the page 2.
I couldn't get to page 2, and I don't know why my phone wasn't letting me go there. But yes, thank you for showing that.
Oh, well, it's a workaround because you have to put in the information. So this is what page 2 looks like.
So
page
2, after they go through and they get their free resource with their free guide, what they're going to do is take a pre-qualifying survey. So again, similar to the survey that I showed you before, you're going to get answers to these questions, and it's going to help them clarify a little bit of what they are interested in, what they've done, what they're focused on, and what they want to do. So but mostly the answers to these survey questions are going to come to you so that you'll have them in your notes, and then you can reach out to them, because that's the best part, is reaching out to them and having a conversation that makes sense. You're not just guessing at what they're interested in, and obviously you're going to ask questions, but when you have them do this survey, you will then have a chance to have a conversation with them that's educational. And then by doing these steps, they're going to get a printed guide. They get a video initially, then they come to the survey, and then they get a printed guide on the 4 secrets you must know in investing in gold and silver, which again, it's just huge for them to be getting these free help tools to help them start this journey, or even if they're in the journey, learn a little more about it. So once again, it sets you up to be in that position where you are a go-to resource for them, which is very, very helpful. And you don't have to be an expert, you just are a connector, which is huge. It makes a difference. Hang on one second. My computer is ringing, which is really irritating.
No worries. And this is like a very short 2-minute video at the top there that goes through the 4 reasons why you want to look into precious metals. As a reminder, we're not financial advisors. So guys, when you're talking to people, never mention the word invest or any derivative of it. No, you're good. But I just want to let everyone know, just as a reminder, because we've got new people every week coming on. So we just, some great words you can say is accumulate, stash, stack silver, gold, all that kind of fun stuff. But this is really, really cool. And I think
just on that note, I think that it's really oftentimes when new people get going in this space, they feel like they've got to know the answers. You don't have to know the answers. All you need to know is that you've got some resources that you can connect people with. And that's the beauty of your company, is that it will show you how to connect people with resources, which is, so long as you're seen as the connector, you're going to become that go-to person, which is huge. So that's just going to help set you up for not feeling like you have to be an expert in order to have these conversations, which is important. So cool. Well, Dawn, is there anything else that you would like me to touch on in the app?
No, I think that's great.
Awesome.
So we just, the whole point of today is just learning how not only can you utilize your warm market and send them fun, open up conversations and send them fantastic resources, but you can also, and I'll go through some other ones, you can also send out the survey and the secrets page if you're a pro user, and just post those in different markets on different social media platforms to generate interest. And that's all free. You don't have to pay for ads. So you just have to think outside the box. Now you can do ads as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But I always want to give people the solution that's complimentary or free, because I personally have not had good results with any kind of social media advertising, meaning like if I buy a Facebook ad, it really hasn't worked out for me in the past. So I always like to think of outside the box stuff. But well, thank you, Jenna.
That just gets back to that whole concept of, people are getting 5,000 digital exposures a day. And what makes network marketing work is the network. It's you reaching out to people that you know. And then when they join your team, having them reach out to people that they know. That's what gets the message heard. That really is. And sharing on social, you've got 3 beautiful resources. You've got 2 surveys, and then you've got the lead generation page. And so when you learn how to use those, or just get in the habit of using those, it's a game changer for everybody. So. All right. Terrific. Well, I will sign off and I will leave you to your workshop. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Enjoy your workshop with Dawn, and we will see you next week.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jen. We appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everyone. So I wanted to share with you, if you're brand new to the app, what we want to talk about today is what she was saying is generating. So let me just go ahead and turn on my screen share again so that I can walk you through it. If you're not already doing this, oops, that's that. Okay. All right, so what you want to do, first we're going to go to the resources. And whenever you're going to post on social media, you're going to want to go directly to the resources versus contacts. The difference here is that a contact is going to generate a unique link for one person. So I take the time when I'm sending out messages to people that I take the time that I'm going to add them, either import them into my app or just add them. And let me just tell you one thing quickly on the contacts. I'm sorry, if you just click right here in the middle, all you need is the first name. I mean, you don't even need the last name, but you should put the last name in so that you would remember who they were. But meaning, if you're talking to someone on WhatsApp or LinkedIn and all you have is their first name and last name, you don't need all the rest of this stuff. So there's so many cool things that you can do that you might think, oh, well, I don't have their information, I can't reach out to them, but you can. And so you can just save it with just their information. I would highly recommend that you put a note in. And then when you do save one, let me show you. Let's go under Jane Doe. When you open this up, this is called a contacts card. And so putting in labels is really key. And we have added just some basic ones for you, but we're going to ask that you put in your own as well. So I'm not sure which ones are of these for sure are the default. Like, I don't think the Boss Babes is a default. So this would be custom to this account that we put in just for this account. But I know for a fact that interested in bullion, buying only, gold, silver, specialty coins, team building, those are all defaults, as well as social media. So it's just going to help you remember who these people are later. If you do the work now, it will benefit you later, because there is a feature that we're going to talk about later where you can actually send out emails to people based on their labels. So that's going to be super important, that you just make sure that you are labeling people and add as many as you want. So to generate leads, let's go back here. I'm going back to home. You want to go to the resources. Whenever you're going to do an ad or whenever you're going to post on social media, you want to go directly to the resources, because it's not connected to one person. It's just going to be untrackable. And you're going to click on the resource. And, you could utilize your business card if you really wanted to do that, put it in some groups and say, hey, check this out. And write something really cool about, are you into gold and silver? And always give them if you're not into gold and silver, who do you know that's into gold and silver? I would really appreciate the business. Like, ask for the favor. Open up my business card. There's 10 buttons here that's going to get you familiar with the program. And I think you're going to be super impressed. But what I would recommend is, as she was saying, go into the secrets page or go into the surveys. Start with something like that. Or some of my favorites, I love Under the Peak. I love all the ones under the peak typically, but I love this Why Silver Will Make You a Millionaire, because it's industry experts that have nothing to do with that cost metals talking about the projection of what can happen with silver and gold. For the millennials, I would say, do you remember the moment you realized the world changed? And this is, I believe it's just about 3-4 minutes. One of the biggest challenges that the millennials have, or the younger generation, even younger than millennials have, is that the world has shifted a lot. It's not the 40-40-40 plan anymore, meaning working 40 hours a week for 40 years and living off of 40% of your income as your retirement. That doesn't happen anymore. And so they are a little upset about that, because everything has shifted and they have to adapt. And so this is a positive one that's going to move them into a call to action, how they can benefit by creating a residual income. Again, it has nothing to do with that cost metals, nor does, let me just clear this up, because I wanted to stress this earlier and I just remembered. The secrets page does not reference at cost metals one not even one time. It's just about precious metals. And then what happens is once you get their information, you see their answers, then you're going to be able to go through and go, okay, based on this, I need to send them one of these. Based on their answers, are they a builder? Are they a buyer? What do they want, etc. So that's what I would recommend, is that you go through and you post one of these peaks, but there is no right or wrong. You may decide that you want to post the price comparison. That is so compelling. Or you might want to go into follow-up and again, not post anything about at cost metals. Maybe just post the documentary. And each of these landing pages is going to have the form that has your, that's going to go directly to you. It doesn't go to anybody else, where they can fill out the information and send it to you. You will be notified via email and as well on the app whenever you do this. Very cool. Let's go back to here. Whenever you're brand spanking new, I'm just going to do this review. Whenever you're brand spanking new, you should always get permission from the person. And under the permissions are just an assortment of scripts that you can use. Now, if you have already called this person, which is really the optimum thing to do, is reach out to them by phone and say, hey, something's crossed my path. I think you'd really be interested in it. Yada, yada. Can I send you something? If you get that permission, then on text messaging, we just want you to know that your self-provider needs to see a two-way communication before you send a link. So if you've already received the permission via telephone, what I would do is before I send the link to them, I would say, hey, I would text them and I would say, hey, is it cool that I send you the link here now? And make sure that they respond with a yes. And now you'll be able to send whatever you want to send to your contact. But if you are having don't know what to say, how to open it up, open the conversation, maybe you even want to call them and you don't know what to say, check out some of these conversation openers. I'm not going to open them up, but you can preview them and see which ones you like based on different criteria. Are they seeking money? Are they curious about gold and silver? Are they an existing gold and silver buyer? And anything that we have here is just a suggestion and it can be modified. So always start with permission, especially for text messaging. And I would say the loophole would be, or the exception to the rule would be, if you are constantly texting the person all day long and they're a good friend of yours, they're probably not going to block you if you send them a link. But if you've never had a conversation with this person, or it's been several months or years since you've texted them, you don't want to open up a conversation with a link. Like, don't even send a text message that says, hey, here's my business card. Always get the permission first. And quite frankly, it's good etiquette. Okay. So let's also show you, let's see if there's anything else in here that we have. So many great resources in our library, and we have these numbered, but for the new person, we don't want you to feel like you have to go 1 through 10. You mix and match it. Everything is know your customer. And if your customer is a seasoned veteran in network marketing, there is a good chance they're going to say, just give me the skinny and send me the comp plan. I want to study it. So I want you to know comp plan is going to be under follow-up, and it's going to be the very first one. So always know where that one's at. Send that to them, and then they'll be very delighted. And let's see, one other thing I wanted to mention, she had mentioned something really good about how to inspire your team. You can have, invite a group of people over, and right there and then import contacts, have them send out 5 to 10 right then. You have 5 to 10 sitting at a table. They're all doing 5 to 10, and you can see how it's a numbers game and how right then in just an hour, you can have like 25 people contacted, or what we call exposed to, through the app. But I don't want you to believe that it has to be local. What if you live somewhere rural? Maybe you're in a different country. You don't have to have someone come to your table. I am a internet girl. And so I want you to realize, just think outside the box, invite your team to a Zoom and open up the app, share the screen of the app, just like I'm doing right now. And this little thing here that's on my screen, I can always show you how to do it. I'm on an iPhone, and this is some accessibility tool that's free. The one that Jen uses, that's fancy, that one is a cost for some service that they've subscribed to. But you could do exactly what I'm doing and just show them how. Just click on the contact, go to the import wizard, and then choose 5. It's actually this one. Sorry. Choose the import wizard and choose 5. And it's going to make them do 5. And bada bing. Have them do it right then. Ask them questions. Everything I'm doing is duplicatable. All right, so let's go ahead and see if anybody has a question. If you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat box, or go ahead and raise your hand and I'll call on you. And I'm just looking in the chat really quickly here. I see Dennis wrote something, and he's getting duplicate notifications when someone opens my message. That does not seem normal. I don't get that. What I would say is the great way to reset the app is by just logging off, logging on. And if that is still the case, I know that there was an update this week. So you can go back to the App Store and look up RapidFunnel, and there should be an update button showing up. And if it does that, then just update it and see if that still happens. And if it's still showing up, go under the More button and go to Support at the very top here and open a ticket. Oops, maybe they changed it. Okay, so they changed it a little bit. And so just click chat with us, and that you can explain what's going on, and they can look into your individual account. So why don't we go ahead right this minute? For those of you that are on, can you please go ahead and pick something that you would like to post on social media? So again, you're going to go to resources, and whatever social media you want, from Facebook to Instagram. Again, Instagram's going to require an image, but let's go ahead and say like Facebook. You could do LinkedIn, etc. Click resources. Click at cost metals. Let's go to survey and choose one of these. You know, a great place to send all this stuff is in all the groups. So if you get on Discord, on Facebook, anywhere, even LinkedIn has groups, anywhere that they have groups, if they will allow you, say, I'm doing a survey, and see if they'll let you post it in the group. And there are so many groups right now for side gigs. You may get, lucky. Some of them are tightening up and not letting people do stuff, but other than posting legit stuff. I mean, I'm not saying this isn't legit, but what I mean is like a post that says I'm hiring kind of thing. Just click that. And when you do, it's going to give you some sample text. This one is a survey for the side gig. Oh, I know. I'm sitting there going, why does it start with awesome? The reason it starts with awesome is because there are pre-scripts for the survey that says, may I send you a survey? So here you go. You could just take this information from this point down and copy it. Here's the 1-minute side gig survey. Look forward to receive your response. And you guys know that I am really a proponent for AI helping you write. So you can go to AI and say, hey, can you write me something really cool about gold and silver and why they need to be doing the survey? Make it keywords or call to action, compelling, energetic, and they will write something really cool. All right, so Vincent says, can you walk us through how to post one? Oh, yeah. So here we go. So this would be it. So I have the information. Let me go ahead and open up my Facebook. I'm going to click here. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. If I just click paste, I'm going to get this. It's going to bring up this link, and that's perfect. But if you want it to look better, if you want image down at the bottom instead, I would say, I did it so fast. Let me do it one more time. Sorry. I did it too fast. Okay, I'm going to paste it in. And when you paste it in, I'm sorry, when you paste it in, it gives you a preview of the link. And there was an X right here, and I just took the X off or click the X. When I click the X, it now gives me the ability to add a picture. So let me go ahead and just add a picture. So let's just pretend that's the picture, and then I could post it. I don't know if you guys know this, but you could click only me and post something as a test. And then only you would see it. There it is. So when I click on it, you'll see it's going to the survey. And if you're not familiar with groups, let's say you don't want to do it here. This is our team group. We don't ever post in our own team group because that would be considered cross recruiting. But if you went to a group that allowed it to, again, whatever the interest is, side gigs, etc., then you could just post it here. Here we go. This is what I did. If you don't want that view, you click on the X. And once you click on the X, then the picture is going to show up. Bada bing. And that's how you do it. It is so simple. And each social media platform is going to be a little different, but that's it. And I highly recommend that you do this. Just try to think outside the box. Utilize the verbiage that we give you to help you think of something else. Or maybe someone else said something really cool. Maybe Antoine on a presentation said something cool. Like one day he wrote, or one day he said, never leave money on the table. And I thought, oh, that's great. And so from that, I had AI write a whole blurb on never leaving money on the table. So my point is that utilize things that like you think are really cool verbiage that you hear and create something around it and invite them to take a survey, invite them to your secrets page. If you're a pro user, invite them to watch one of the starters. And when I say a starter, what I mean by that is when you pick one of these, it starts the series. There are 12 to 14 videos within the series. And when you start with one of these, you're going to start at the beginning of the series. So let me show you really quickly. As the person clicks learn more, they're going to cycle or advance through all the different ones. So this is great because someone that's really excited will go through everything. And then hopefully before you wake up, click join now. And the join now is going to link them directly to your at cost metals page. Now, this is just a sample. This is nobody's. In fact, ACM said that they're going to disconnect this join name because it's not fair. And so, but I just want you to see this. So I'm not advertising for anybody. All right. Well, oh my gosh, it's past the top of the hour. I just got a little excited, talking a little too long. So let's go ahead and close it up, but let's finish strong. We have another 36 hours before the end of the week. Let's finish out strong, post some wonderful things on social media. And I encourage you to do it on more than one platform and do at least 3 a week. Try to think of 3 different things. We have so many resources. So utilize this, post away, have fun with it, and may this help you close it. The reason I did this app in the first place is it helped me close about 80% of my sales. And I was so impressed with it that I said, I'm going to build it out. And so I absolutely love it. Hope you love it too. So until next week, we do this every Friday. Let me get over here, close this out. We do this every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And we're so blessed to have the Rapid Funnel team supporting us. And so bring your teams and let's get everyone fired up. Have a great weekend and may you finish strong.